Hello again, Dodge truck enthusiasts. This is a part 2 added to the last video I did about the Dodge Cummins trucks, and the particular one that I was working on that had the RS 9000s and their obvious shortcomings. I didn't really elaborate on what I was going to do for this guy's shocks. All I really showed was how worn out his year-old shocks were, and try and make it quick here. I didn't have anything else to put on there, and I wasn't going to put them worn out shocks back on, so I put my factory shocks back on that truck, just so he had something to drive the truck on. Little bit of information about the truck. It is his daily driver, business truck, camper hauler, has like a 35-foot fifth wheel, and uses it on vacations. And you know, it's nothing hardcore about the truck or his driving style. He lives outside of town, and to get to and from his house he has to drive on probably 5 miles of washboard dirt road each way every day. The road is pretty well maintained, but you know, it gets washboardy once in a while, and obviously by the looks of those shocks in the last video, that road must be enough to wipe out a set of those shocks in a year's time and less than 10,000 miles. So we had discussed what our options were, and they're kind of limited for what he needs. He doesn't need something hardcore, or he's not driving a trophy truck. He just uses this truck as a truck, and he's got 100,000 miles on it, and he plans on putting another 100,000 miles on it. So his truck was an investment to him, and he's going to get his use out of it. And he's kind of wanting a shock that goes along those same lines, something that's going to last, and in that case kind of be an investment too. So some people are probably satisfied with changing shocks every 20,000 miles, and just throwing them in the trash and getting another set. That's kind of the world we live in, a throwaway world. But he doesn't like that idea, and neither do I. So we called our friends over at Thurn Fabrication again and looked at our shock options, and Don has a Fox 2.0 that he has developed and tested on his very own truck that at the time had stock leaf springs in the rear, which this fellow has also, and these shocks are valved to improve on that ride quality, which is basically stock. You don't have to get a bunch of fancy stuff to suit the shocks. The shocks already suit the truck, and that's what we need. These shocks are not cheap because they're not cheap, okay? They are quality, American-made shock absorber, and they're rebuildable. They're not throwaway. These shocks can be maintained, serviced, as you will, if needed. Don't plan on them probably needing that for a while. I think we'll get a lot of life out of these, and the price wasn't terrible. $1,100 to your door with all the hardware. Comes with the hardware to mount the reservoir to your frame, and they bolt into your stock Dodge truck. These also are for, you know, when he uses 3-inch coils. So they are dimensionally appropriate for that application. Stem top, again, use your stock towers. Fox, I believe, makes a stock replacement shock for the Dodge 3/4 ton Cummins trucks. Don't know a lot about those. I imagine that there's not a lot of science behind the valve profile that they use as far as their application goes. This one is very specific to the Cummins diesel, and it also has its own custom valve profile by Don Thurm. And if you don't believe me, I'm going to show you. To prove it to you, these are actually, let's see if I can get some light here, stamped and say custom. These are not an off-the-shelf Fox reservoir shock. These are valve specific to Don Thurm specifications, not Fox specifications, Don Thurm specifications, all right? And again, he was using stock leaf springs when he developed these, which most people do, okay? So, this is what we're going to put on that bad boy, and I'll make another video of that too.